So I'm speaking for two people today, for myself and Maite, who is just too overwhelmed with organization. So I'll be covering also some of her stuff here in short time. About sharing inspiring innovations, it's a long story. I mean, we're three years into this project. I'm not going to repeat things that you already heard. I want to focus into just a few new issues and give you a little bit of insight into how much effort we actually put as a team into it. So you heard from Xavier about how it was important to mobilize these multi-actor clusters in the project to start working on visioning for HNV farming. Also from Guy just now, you heard about sharing and discussing innovations that would support this farming. And it was also a process of understanding what such innovation means. It's not just any innovation, it's a very specific kind of it. But now I want to focus more on peer learning, which happened in this project, and innovation brokering. And also, I was responsible for this part of the project activities, so I'll cover a little bit of this. So all this process actually is leading now to the very final output of the project. It's thin in making still. So all our learning area teams are producing now their action plans. So what happens next? What are we going to achieve once the project is over? The brokering of innovation as a process was a very multi-scalar issue. So we are shifting from one level of activities to another and then back again and to the next one. So it started all at the project level with the methodological seminar where we tried to understand ourselves what we are going to do and how. And then the ball was in the playing field of our local learning areas when they were meeting with their stakeholders and identifying needs for innovations and also good examples. And once this was done, Guy explained you a bit of it. So we met again for our innovation fair, where people through the teams, through speed dating, we called it, tried to match their innovation needs to the innovations that were brought to the table by other teams. So it was like demand was meeting supply process. And that's how our cross-visit teams were formed, very much matching the needs with what was available to learn from. And then, just recently, the learning areas again conducted regional meetings. Sometimes they were on the national level, and that was a possibility for them to tell the outside world about their work, about their learning experience, about new innovations, new opportunities to people outside their teams and learning areas. So how to spread, how to upscale innovations. And that was a very important work that just finished, basically. And through all the project, of course, we're also speaking to on international fora about our experiences. So just to give you insight into the actual amount of work that went into this. So cross-visits, an immensely important part of the project. There were 16 of those. It was about 66 days in total of work, and it involved over 200 stakeholders. Most of them were actually traveling to places to learn new things. I'm an educator, I work in the university. We have a common currency in the European Union called study credits. It's about one study credit is 1 week of learning and working. I did a little bit of math. And as a team, we actually achieved a master's degree in innovation and overachieved it. So, congratulations on this. And this was not any boring learning where students sit in the back row and listening to a drooling professor. It was the best kind of learning where students were actually, or student needs were matched with teachers' capacity of matching, of providing for these needs. And the roles of teacher and student were flipping all the time. I have two examples from you. This is Baron James, you know his face. So they organized actually a hands-on workshop for their Portuguese colleagues on how to design the results-based payment scheme for biodiversity from scratch. And then another example from Sweden, where they have a unique approach on how to facilitate change in their local area. And then when Greek team came there, they discovered that they can complement this approach with novel technology of how to do it even more efficient. So this is cross-learning that we are speaking about. And because of this, it's not only about new skills on our understanding, it's also about new partnerships that are being formed just now. Like yesterday, we had a round table of all learning areas presenting what new initiatives they started to already implement based on these results. Basically, every learning area now have a new partnership, new projects, new funding in some cases, and also new business initiatives. I just put 3 names, I'm sorry, but I could have put just every name of every learning area here. And you can imagine that the results of this can be quite dramatic. And that's work in making. Regional meetings, again, very important events. Some of them were national events involving hundreds of participants. Look, it's 1,000 of people who were now exposed to these innovations. We had huge media coverage. Now the key lessons, again, without repeating what was said so far, I want to rub a few of this. Value of peer learning cannot be underestimated, really, because these are real people doing real work. They have to meet face to face. And it's not only about know-how, it's also about motivation. I mean, people, again, you heard already the word catalyzer, or facilitator, or amateur. And these are people like Brandon here, who are also people, so they need sometimes pattering on their back, you know. And no, Brandon is already in spotlight with the Baron, but we speak about many teams who are very isolated in their work. And unless we have outsiders who come and say, wow, you are doing something really cool, can you teach me? Their motivation can stop at some point, they can break down. So this is very important part of our activities, and do ask our delegates for more details on this. Now, I didn't have many cross visits, just one, but I could learn myself distantly, and so can you also. Go to our website, it's a very richly populated thing. So if you go, for example, to activities, choose cross visits, you will have reports from both visiting and host teams on reflecting what they have achieved through their time together. And then we have some short video sort of testimonies or lessons learned, whatever you call it, from local actors. And while you're on the website, again, you can call and check on each learning area and to really see how they were mobilizing this multi-actor approach. What does it mean in practice? How did they reach those actors? How did they talk to them? It was a very transparent process. It was not us just coming and telling people what to do. I'm sorry, it was not. We really made a huge effort into involving people. Oops. Now, target groups of this project were many, they stay the same, but what we realized quickly is that we actually have some people who are already sympathetic and know about HNV a lot, and then we have sort of innocence. In my own department, when I say a word HNV, my colleagues would look back and say, so, what kind of disease is this? And that's not a joke, that's actually what's happening. So we are trying to work for both these groups. For more engaged, we created this interactive map of which Guy mentioned. You can click the boxes, search for innovations that fit your needs best, and go and check on them. You can also start with learning areas and see what is the context, what are the challenges, and then what are the innovations. And this is European Union funding. It's an open resource. So go and steal, translate, adapt. That's the product for anyone. National language is very important because the project is in English, of course. That's a sort of historical trick, but the innovation is happening on local levels. So now we are having local teams translating our leaflets. We have Bulgarian, now we have Greek. For Bulgarians, created even slideshows there on our YouTube channels that you can show. But why not to make it 30 languages or plus? I don't remember how many languages we have in Europe, but let's make them all and go into Algeria and Morocco just as much. We also utilized a lot on social media campaign. That was more for people who are not aware of HNV to begin with. We were creating very simple stories, visual posts on explaining what is shepherding. It's a biblical profession. How many of you met a shepherd ever? I did just once. So that these are not disappearing then on the timeline of our social media channels, we created also very simple slideshows. Go to our YouTube channel. We have 5 playlists and quite a lot of different types of videos, people speaking to the camera. Not professional at all, made just with iPhones. This is a very popular one. And then this is a fantastic one where Brendan is speaking about fantastic buzzing of bees. I hope to see double of views after this conference. Very quickly, just throwing it, we do realize the importance of education. I'm an educator myself. This is my pet child of this project. Again, I was amazed how much support we got for this from people outside of the project. Educators from around Europe were freely giving us their material and support in this. And I met some colleagues through this project. Now we are cross-visiting each other on Erasmus teacher mobility. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. And this is free material, just go and steal. I mean, use it. Pictures, everything is not copyrighted, I mean, open use. And the common thing is a new tool introduced by EAP Agri, and we are creating now this practice abstracts in hope that they will also help us to reach new people and explain what this is all about. Thank you very much.